Leonor in tears before her wedding. Queen Letizia speaks love letter. It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. The palace was alive with excitement, the scent of white roses filled the air, and the royal bells of Madrid were ready to ring for Spain's future queen. But behind the glittering gold doors of Zarzuela Palace, something no one expected was happening. Princess Leonor was in tears. The nation's beloved heir to the throne, usually calm and poised, had broken down just hours before walking down the aisle. But why? And what did Queen Letizia say that changed everything? At first glance, the day seemed perfect. The royal family was glowing, the cathedral decorated with thousands of lilies, and Spain was preparing for a moment that would go down in history. Yet, behind the scenes, emotions were high, and Leonor's heart was heavy. It began quietly that morning. Leonor's bridesmaids had entered her private suite to help her dress. The young princess smiled, but her reflection in the mirror told another story. Her eyes shimmered, not with joy, but with emotion she couldn't hide. Something was weighing on her heart. Then, her mother entered. Queen Letizia, radiant in soft pastel silk, closed the door gently behind her. The two stood in silence for a moment. Mother and daughter. Queen and future queen. No cameras. No press. Just raw emotion. Letizia approached slowly, placing her hands on Leonor's shoulders. "Amor," she said softly, "you don't have to be perfect today. You just have to be you." Those words broke the silence, and Leonor's composure. Tears began to fall, not of fear, but of overwhelming emotion. Because in that moment, she wasn't a princess. She was just a daughter, standing before her mother, realizing how far she had come. Letizia pulled her close, whispering words only the two of them would ever know. Some say she told her about the night Leonor was born, how she promised to raise her not as a royal, but as a human being with a heart strong enough to face the crown. Others believe she reminded her of the sacrifices, the long training years, and the strength it took to reach this day. Whatever she said, it changed everything. Leonor smiled through her tears. The trembling stopped. The weight lifted. The princess who walked out of that room wasn't just the daughter of a queen, she was Spain's future monarch, ready to embrace her destiny. But the story doesn't end there. Because what came next left even Queen Letizia visibly emotional. As the wedding procession began, the music echoing through the grand cathedral, all eyes turned toward the aisle. When Leonor appeared, radiant and calm, holding her bouquet of white gardenias, a hush fell over the guests. But then, something rare happened. Letizia, standing beside King Felipe, was seen wiping away a tear. The cameras caught it, the Queen of Spain, known for her composure, overcome with emotion. Later, royal watchers would say it wasn't sadness, but pride. The kind only a mother could feel watching her child step into history. After the ceremony, while the newlyweds greeted guests, Letizia was overheard speaking quietly to a family friend. Her voice carried a softness rarely heard in public. "She was born with light," she said. "And today, that light shines on all of Spain." Those words became headlines. Queen Letizia speaks, a mother's love for the future queen. But few knew the full meaning behind them. Because behind that light was struggle, years of sacrifice, of preparing Leonor for a life that wasn't her choice, but her duty. As a child, Leonor had often watched her mother face public scrutiny. The elegance, the criticism, the expectations, it all left a mark. Letizia knew that the path to the crown was never easy, especially for a woman. And that's why her words before the wedding carried such weight. They weren't just advice, they were a legacy. That night, during the private family dinner, Queen Letizia raised her glass. To Leonor, she said, "May your reign be filled not with perfection, but with compassion." The room fell silent. Even King Felipe nodded with pride. Princess Sofia, Leonor's younger sister, reached out to squeeze her hand. It was a small gesture, but it said everything: family first, always. Behind the royal titles and elegant gowns was a bond that no crown could break. A mother's love, a daughter's tears, and a moment Spain would never forget. In the days that followed, photos from the wedding spread across the world. But one image stood out, the moment before the ceremony when Leonor, holding her mother's hand, smiled through tears. It became a symbol of authenticity in a world of protocol. Proof that even royalty feels deeply, loves truly, and sometimes, cries before destiny calls. Queen Letizia later spoke in a rare interview, saying, "The world sees a princess. I see my little girl who used to climb into my bed when she couldn't sleep. The one who now walks into her future with grace." It was a glimpse into a royal heart few had ever seen. And for Spain, it was a reminder that even in the grandeur of monarchy, emotion reigns supreme. The wedding may have marked the beginning of a new royal chapter, but what truly moved the nation wasn't the ceremony or the jewels, it was the honesty of a single moment shared between a mother and her daughter. The tears weren't weakness. They were strength. The strength to love, to feel, to lead. And as the lights dimmed on that historic evening, Queen Letizia and Princess Leonor stood together on the palace balcony, waving to the cheering crowd. For a brief moment, their eyes met, and they both smiled. Because deep down, they knew the truth. The crown may define a kingdom, but love defines a queen.